First are what we call the State of Iowa reports, the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report and the Single Audit Report. We are still in the process of gathering the documents from the state of Iowa, from the GAP team at DAS, and waiting on a draft of the state's financial statements for us to complete our audit. Once we get that documentation in the draft, we can complete that and we can issue our opinion. And of course, the ACFR includes the universities in there. So the universities get their own report, and then they also are included in the ACFR. So that has not been issued. The second one listed is the Single Audit Report, also has not been issued. The way these things flow is we have to issue the ACFR before we can do the statewide single audit. The uniform guidance requires an audit of the financial statements in conjunction with an audit of the federal programs. And so because that has not been issued, the single audit has not been issued. So we would expect that will follow shortly after the ACFR, and that will be completed. And I will talk about a bit of a change on that here in a minute as it relates to the universities. And then moving into then the universities, we have issued the opinions on the three universities. So Iowa State, and UNI, we have issued those opinions and those reports. And those links should hopefully get you to those reports. Iowa State was the last one again to be reported, but there's been progress made, and I fully anticipate next year that will be issued around the same time as the other two in order to meet the single audit requirements that I'll talk about here in just a moment. On those single audit reports, normally what has been the standard practice is that the university's federal programs have been rolled into the statewide single audit report, and we've issued that each year. Well, because of the lateness of those, there's been some concerns, and I think probably rightfully so, from some federal departments about the lateness of those reports. And so we have taken the step, and our staff are working diligently right now to issue single audit reports for each of the universities. So that's different from what's been done in the past. We expect those to be out in the month of June. And so there'll be an additional report you'll see for each of the universities on their federal programs, and we think that will hopefully go a long way to satisfy the Department of Education and others who depend on those reports. Now going forward, we will continue to issue separate single audit reports on each of the universities, and I fully anticipate those will be issued by March 31st. So the next fiscal year will be issued by March 31st of 24. So we'll do that going forward until and in such time as the single audit gets completed by March 31st, which is the required date that be completed according to the uniform guidance. So,
what was that? What date is that required date? I'm
March
sorry.
31st.
March 31st.
It's 9 months after the end of the fiscal year.
Right.
So that's March 31st. Moving on then.